कैसे हो आप लोग सब? क्या चल रहा है? आई होप you're really enjoying inspiring heights. I hope you're making the most of this podcast. आई होप आप लोगों से मिल पा रहे हो, अपने क्वेश्चंस पूछ पा रहे हो या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ यूज़ कर पा रहे हो to ask all the questions that you have. And of course, my DMs are always open for you guys. So you know that you can reach me at any point. In the past 2 days, मुझे कम से कम भी 50 DMs आए हैं just on body shape, जो अभी मैंने आंसर नहीं किया है. तो I will definitely get back, guys. I'm calculating as we go. Just allow me some time, but I know it's a very important thing for us to know this, so I'll definitely reach out to you. There she is.
Hello,
Hey, hi Apurva.
how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
All good, all good.
Awesome. Thank you for making time, Apurva. Very excited to chat with you today. I think if I can just take a minute to share what RareReach is about, what Inspiring Heights is about. Of course, we've had like very brief conversations about that. And while I go ahead to do that, I'd also like to let everyone who's joining us slowly know Apurva is one of India's leading inner child coaches, and she's a child psychology expert. And the reason that I invited Apurva in was that Apurva, through my conversations with so many girls, I've realized that we hold a lot of body confidence issues from our childhood. Something that somebody has said to us when we were 10 years old. And now we're 30 and we're still perhaps not wearing sleeveless because mom said, yaar, tere haath ajeeb lagte hain. So it's conversations like that that I kept on hearing, and I felt it was so important that that child that we have within us just sort of like we understand its emotions and we perhaps can try and heal ourselves. It's a long process, I'm sure, but that is the starting point. So, commendable the work that you're doing, and I love the mission that you have. Apurva, through her journey, she's a best-selling author of a book called The Visionary Parent, which I think I'd love to know a little bit more about as we have this conversation today. And her mission is beautiful, which is that she's already impacted thousands of lives, but her goal is 1 million people. She wants to impact their lives. She wants to help them heal their inner child, break generational trauma, which is again like really, really relevant, especially in the context of RareReach. And I'll share with you how. And of course, foster peace through inner peace, right? So again, amazing, because if we are peaceful inside, I do feel like हम बाहर जाके कुछ भी like we will care about things that are truly important to us as individuals rather than all of these materialistic things that we run after. So yeah, again, very excited to have you. The topic for today is how parenting shapes our self-confidence. Very, very relevant in the context of RareReach. So RareReach is, of course, India's first largest petite community. We never really had one in the country. I have grown up as a petite, so there are a lot of comments that I've heard at home from my relatives, from folks in my school who would bully me. But of course, over time, there was a journey that I had in terms of how I started loving myself. Perhaps not really loving my body initially, but other aspects of my personality that perhaps made me feel more confident. And then eventually, I saw that my younger sisters were also going through a very similar journey. And that made me realize that this is very generational. My mom perhaps heard the same comments because of her height. Then I heard them. Now my sisters are hearing them. And perhaps if we don't heal this, it will continue on and on for generations to come. So that really was where this whole aspect of starting RareReach was important to me. And now we've gotten into building a fashion label around it, and how is it that we can solve fit issues and so on for petite women. But this was the genesis that I never had someone that I could have conversations with about height and body confidence, but I didn't want younger girls of today to have that same lacking experience per se. So that's just a quick introduction of Apurva to everyone and of RareReach to you, Apurva. And again, welcome to Inspiring Heights.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't catch your name though.
Anu.
Manu.
Anu.
Anu, okay, Anu. We were having so much of conversation, but in that conversation, it just missed out. But it's an amazing, amazing. I did go through your profile, and I did go through your website, and it's an actually amazing the vision that you have for the future generation, and of course the girls in terms of body shaming. I truly believe that there's a lot of trauma that we all carry, especially when it comes to girls. Yes, we do, and when we are able to heal certain aspects, those aspects which have led us to shrink ourselves, when we heal those aspects, it really matters. And that's when we start playing big in our life. That's when we stop people pleasing, and that's when we stop being apologetic for being ourselves, right? So I really love your mission, your vision, and thank you so much for inviting me, giving me this opportunity to add some value to your community.
Absolutely, the pleasure is all ours. And there were, I had of course posted, I typically do this whenever we have conversations like these, which are very relevant, and we get the opportunity to hear from experts like yourself. I just make sure to also give the community an opportunity to ask questions. And it was nice because there were a bunch of questions, there were a bunch of, I think, things that people shared anonymously. And perhaps we could unpack some of that as we go in the conversation today, Apurva.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to help.
Uh, Thank you. I think I'd just like to start by understanding your journey, Apurva. So, inner child healing is still a very new concept in India. Child, of course, I've seen a lot of people reading about that, but please educate us how inner child healing sits within the world of child psychology. Are there any, is it a subset? Are they two separate things? And then what led you to pick this journey? Because it is quite different, and was there something which was sort of a personal story that led you to believe that this is something that you'd like to take forward for yourself, for others?
Yes, so thank you so much for asking me that question, Anu. I do have a backstory for it. I am an engineer by profession. I've worked in multiple multinational companies as a full stack developer. I used to literally code. And while growing up, I've always followed the footsteps of my elder sister. So she did engineering, so I did engineering. Whatever she would do, I would want to follow her, right? And that's what our parents wanted us to be engineers, so we just followed the herd mentality. tab to aise bacha engineer hona chahiye, right? As a child, I come from a family. I'll just give you a background. I come from a family of where my grandmother, my uncle, my father, in bits and parts, it is in me as well. I come from a family of Alzheimer's, so forgetfulness was already a part of my DNA. So as a child, while growing up, I used to forget a lot. Pens, pencil, घुमा दिया, tiffin boxes रख के आ गई school में, and for that I used to be beaten up a lot. My mom has always been a perfectionist, okay, and she was a teacher. Now they both are retired. They both were teachers, so you can imagine the kind of environment. It was strict, and so that was where, while growing up itself, I had a lot of self doubt. I used to be not confident. I used to feel insecure in my own body because I would always feel that other people are superior than me, because I forget I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, right? And that's what really shapes us as an adult. Being an adult, I was forgetful. I used to get triggered. All that anger was suppressed because, of course, when you are beaten up, when you are, when you go through some strict parenting, and it's not about, blaming our parents, right? It's about understanding where your wounds are coming from, right? So I used to be someone who would blame my parents like anything, like आपकी वजह से मेरी life बर्बाद हुई, ये हुआ, वो हुआ, right? I used to blame every single person in my life, and I used to be the victim. That this is what is happening, and it's all because of other people, right? Other people have ruined my life. So that was the story that I was living. That it's because of others that my life is not that successful. I'm not that successful. I'm not that I've not reached, right? And I'll tell you, it was only after my daughter. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and it was only after I gave birth to her that I realized that there's so much of anger, so much of emotional blockages that I had. Because when she was born, I was going through postpartum depression, and let me share with you, 80%. And it's research, okay? Research suggests that 80% of women go through postpartum depression after giving birth to their child, but it's not even recorded, right? Because who cares, right? Who cares about the mental health of the woman of the house? So that's what happened. And then a lot of anger would be bursted on my daughter. She was the most defenseless person, right? The children are the most defenseless people in our life, so she would bear the brunt of my anger or my frustration. And there was one particular moment, like 2 years I went through postpartum depression after I had her. And it was a series of complaining, blaming, putting myself down, shrinking myself, feeling not good enough in my own body, in my own soul, then punishing my daughter for not, it was not even her mistake, right? Children are rarely at fault. So it was the series of continuous uh, moments of not feeling happy from within. And 2 years down the line, what happened, there was one particular moment. I used to be very angry. I used to be that angry mom. And the reason I'm sharing this is there are so many mothers who go through and they don't share it with anybody. And that's why I have held this as an anchor. Whenever I conduct my master classes in my community, I do I do share this with anybody who are going through these kind of troubles, these kind of challenges. So there was one moment where my daughter was all over the place. She was hardly 1.5, 2 years, right? Some of them are resonating with what I'm sharing right now, right? So uh, she was hardly 1.5, 2 years, and there was one moment, one day, where I was physically ill, mentally I was going through that depression, and she was all over the place. She had decided कि आज तो मैं मम्मी को एकदम परेशान करके रखूंगी, and she was throwing things at me. She was, literally climbing me, and there was one moment where I could not take it anymore. And I was so angry. I was so frustrated. I picked my hand and I hit her on her head, and her head banged the floor. That was the intensity with which I hit her. And yes, immediately I realized, what if psychologically something wrong happens with her, right? The entire week I was sulking into that thought that what if something happens to my daughter, what if psychologically something happens to my daughter. I took her to her pediatrician and got her checked, got her tested, and she consoled me that everything is fine, don't worry. And that was the time when I completely broke down. I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I need to become better. I need to become better for my daughter. I can't be this person for my daughter. I don't want to do what happened with me, right? As parents, we always decide that I'll not do anything that has happened with me, right? As a child. But it's usually those subtle subconscious patterns that we keep repeating because that's what we have learned, and it happens at a very subtle level. And that is what called me to start my research on this particular subject. So, of course, inner child is something that I did not know. The terminology I did not know. So I did my master's in child psychology. I wanted to understand what happens in child's brain, like how do they develop. And as I was going through the study, I found the word inner child. It is coined by the father of psychology, Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, and it's their work actually, and it's pretty old concept. Yeah. So that's when my research, my because what used to happen, I invested a lot in parenting courses by the time, but tips and tricks say things were not happening, things were not getting well, because there were moments where I would go back to my anxious self. That impulsive nature would just come out, and I would just be that angry mom. And that's when I thought that there's something more to this. I can't do this superficial work. It's not something which is as at surface level. I need to go deep. And when I started doing research, I got this term called inner child. I went deep into this, understanding what happens in our brain, what happens in our mind, what are the beliefs that we carry. And that is when my journey of complete transformation, of truly becoming that coach, becoming that healer for others, began with me. Of course, I started with healing myself, healing my anger, healing my frustration, healing my anxious anxieties that I used to go through, and stress, and all of those emotions that we go through, right, at points. The reason we struggle is because we were never introduced with our feelings, right? We were never told कि हाँ आपको बुरा लग रहा है, आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है, आपको, because we were never introduced to it. So it's obvious to shut it down. Like, we are used to shut down our emotions. We are used to shrink ourselves. We are used to tell ourselves that नहीं यार ठीक हो जाऊंगी, right? Ignore करने का, like your emotions, right? We've been told that whatever you're feeling is invalid, right? We've been invalidated most of the times कि अरे ये तो attention के लिए कर रही है, right? And that's where this work really helps, because you're not just getting those tips and tricks. You're going deep within yourself and taking the problem, that you're actually working on the root cause. So you're taking that problem and taking it out of from the root. so that you can actually lead a happy, healthy, successful, abundant life. And that is what my mission is. I Because people don't understand laws of nature, laws of universe, basic laws of nature. And that's the reason we keep on struggling with our own mind. Our belief system is it's like a loop, it's like a vicious loop that we keep on living. And then what we do, we keep on blaming others, we keep on pointing fingers, bickering about others कि उनकी वजह से मेरी life बर्बाद हुई, इनकी वजह से मेरी life बर्बाद हुई, without really understanding that it's all within you. Everything is within you. Every single thing is within you. So that is what truly transformed my life. And I didn't want to stop at that, because it's human psychology, that whatever you've benefited from, you want to naturally, you want to share it with others. Naturally you want to help others, right? And it's human behavior, like core behavior. We all want to help others, each other, right? But first you need to help yourself, and then only you can learn, you can implement it in your life, and only then you can share it with others, right? So that's how my journey. And today I'm grateful that I'm in this space of transformation. My entire community, it's growing so beautifully. The kind of results that my students have been able to get, not just about their inner child, but when your inner world is happy, peaceful, safe, your outer world automatically starts getting beautiful. So my students have been able to manifest massive money in their life. They've been able to heal their relationships, whether it is mother-father relationship, the a mother-child relation, parent-child relationship, or spouse relationship with their spouse. They've been able to get amazing career, manifest beautiful careers in their life. Because what, manifestation really works when you are operating from the present. But most of the times people complain that my manifestation don't work. Why? Because they're operating from the past. Because we'll always operate from the past. We'll always have that reference, no? कि तब ऐसा हुआ था, इसलिए आज भी ऐसा हो सकता है, right? बुरा हुआ था तब, तो शायद आज भी बुरा हो सकता है. So when we operate from that past, we're no longer manifesting from the positive space. And that's why people keep complaining कि अरे मेरे साथ तो बुरा ही होता है, manifestations don't work for me. Right? So that's how my journey has been. And I like I've nothing, every single morning I'm just waking up with complete bliss and complete gratitude that I'm on this space. I truly believe that it's all master's work that we're doing here. Even you, Anu, you are also an instrument of God. So it's such a blissful place to be in.
I think it's amazing, and firstly, so much power to you, because it it takes a lot of practice. It starts with courage to accept the parts that we haven't loved about ourselves, right? And to then we talk about it, and not for anything, but for other people to get that courage. And I saw so many people resonating with you and saying, "Hey, I did have postpartum depression." Um, and even like to educate other people, right? There will be women who will go through this journey and they will perhaps remember your example, and they will perhaps have an idea that, oh, okay, maybe this is what might be happening with me. And two, it's totally okay because it happened with someone like Apurva, and then two other people said that, oh, it happened with me also. So it gets normalized, which is also so very important.
Yeah.
And that's where the healing journey starts. But the first part is acceptance, and you're helping so many women with that process. That is beautiful. And then the work that you're doing on inner child healing is so relevant. I've gone through this process in a very like short format, but I can tell you that there were so many things that I discovered about myself that the 5-year-old Anu has, like, that's a core memory, and I'm holding on to it. Happens that sort of shakes me. It's also calling out to that Anu who went through that same experience. So very true. I think the way that we want to manage impacted by what we're holding on to and what we need to let go, and then like treat the fresh page. I also love the fact that you spoke about your students and how, of course, so many lives transformed, and I'm so happy that there are these beautiful outcomes. And I genuinely feel like in today's world where there's so much of exposure to social media, looking at other people's lives, and just it's a very different world from what we grew up in. And
So cool.
I'm assuming we're both millennials, but I think younger folks, they really need like a lot of guidance, a lot of path. Now, having worked with so many different people over a span of so many years, um, is there one story that's stayed with you? Any one transformation that you're extremely happy about? Because I know that what you're doing is also a very difficult path, because somebody either really needs to be very down and out or really very self-aware to get on this journey. And for you also, it must have been very difficult. So you also need like anchors. And I feel like for us, these are the anchors, these happy stories, these happy outcomes, just seeing
Yeah.
other So, were there any happy outcomes or transformations
So
over there?
many. I can't even begin to, contemplate. No, people have like some of my students have lost weight, like 10 kgs weight in 2 months, in the span of just 2 months. Getting to some intense stories. Some of my students have been able to heal PCOD, PCOS, then uterine fibroid, uh, coming from us like a 12 centimeter uterine fibroid. Some of my students have been able to heal. Some of my students have been able to heal from the sexual abuse that they went through as a child. It is so, it is so painful initially to listen to these stories. I've done a lot of one-to-ones initially, okay, just to understand what are the challenges that people go through. And it's, it's not just women but men alike. They also go through a lot, but we've been conditioned, no, we have grown up into this conditioning that मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता, लड़के रोते नहीं, लड़कियां तो पराया धन होती है, right? And when a girl feels rejected in her femininity, she rejects her femininity, and that's how PCOD, PCOS, all the problems of the reproductive system, right? All of that occurs because the girl feels that I don't want to be a girl. There are men who have suppressed their vulnerability. Of course, men have been conditioned कि आप रो नहीं सकते, आप vulnerable हो नहीं सकते, right? And because of that, what happens? Men suppress their vulnerability and their pain. And because of that, research suggests that 75% men go through heart related diseases. You check out people, men especially, they die out of heart attack, heart blockages, right? So much in our own family we've seen. My grandfather expired due to heart attack. So many in my family have gotten heart attack, and they've recovered, or getting to know that 90% blockage, 80% blockage. Why is that happening? Because since childhood, a guy has been conditioned that you cannot cry, you cannot be vulnerable. And when that happens, when they are able to grow, when they are able to heal from those aspects, they are they are thriving in every aspect of their life. And that is what I really need. I want to change, this conditioning that we have all been through. Girls have been conditioned to think that आपको अपनी life नहीं है. You don't have your own life. You are someone else's property, as if, right? And because of that, the girl rejects her femininity. She suppresses her anger, and every single thing that has been suppressed has to show up in her body. For me, I had a lot of suppressed anger, so it showed up in my gallstone. I attracted gallstone. I attracted thyroid. I attracted autoimmune disorder. And we all know autoimmune disorder ke liye solution is only steroids. And steroids, when you take steroids, of course, there has to be repercussions. So I took steroids for 3 long years. My face would be bulky. I would be looking so fat, and a lot of side effects steroids have. Those who have taken steroids, those who are on the steroids, they know how painful it is to take steroids. Yes, it will heal the symptom, but it never heals the root cause. 2021 was the year I decided that, no longer am I going to take. So autoimmune disorder for me was, my eye would just be stuck. It is a very
Oh,
rare orbital nerve disorder, and anybody talking from this side, I actually had to move completely in order to be able to talk to them. The entire month I would be on leave because I wouldn't be able to look at my laptop. So it was so painful. And 2021, I decided that I will not take, till that time, ICH had become a part of my life. And I'm so grateful that, I had, of course, I did my healing from my own mentors. I have a lot of mentors. I learned from a lot, because this has been something which has been so interesting, because I truly believe that our body is very powerful, very
mm,
powerful. And you know what? Like I mentioned, right? Some of my students have been able to lose weight. The weight that we are carrying is also the weight of shame, the weight of protection, that I need protection. Somewhere your inner child felt that, you need protection, and that's the reason it started accumulating fat. And I've literally, it's like first-hand experience, Anu. For me, I've always been on a slimmer side, okay? But when I got to experience it through my students, that they have been able to heal their traumas in just 60 days. I take my students through a 60 days journey, and in just 60 days they're able to lose 10 kgs. It's not a joke. For someone who has always been on the higher side of the weight, and they being able to heal and reduce 10 kgs weight, it's a huge win for them. It's something which is they've, uh, these women have tried everything, from diets to exercise to yoga to everything. And when that comes, that really fulfills, like, and that's the reason I said, no, every morning when I wake up, it is just filled with so much of gratitude, that thank you, God, thank you, masters, uh, for making me that channel for other people's growth and transformation. So I can't even, I can't share the happiness or the fulfillment that I feel from within.
No, I think we can only feel it, feel like bits of it, but I'm sure it's been beautiful, yeah, and I completely agree. I think a lot of the things that we feel, they manifest through our body, and our body just that's the visual outward way of our inner parts telling us, hey, you've been holding on to too much. Amazing that they've gone through that transformation journey, because it's not that you need to lose weight or you need to look a certain shape. I think it's just that you need to feel fit, you need to feel healthy, and just let go of things. If somebody mentioned emotional baggage, so agree, like you just need to let it and you automatically feel lighter. If they are planning on losing weight or gaining weight, whatever it is, I think then that's the other outcome of it. But interestingly, side of things, Apurva. Now, what's been happening with a lot of people is that, like while growing up, there'll be this whole conversation, हाइट नहीं बढ़ रही, चलो क्या करें, इसको स्किपिंग कराते हैं, इसको रोप्स कराते हैं, इसको चढ़ाते हैं, लटकने के लिए बोलते हैं, स्विमिंग कराते हैं, ये दवाई खिलाते हैं, like so many conversations. Then you will go to comment and say, oh, अब कैसे इसकी शादी होगी, हाइट तो कम रह गई, 5 feet भी हाइट नहीं है. So like these are markers that start coming up for you. Then when you go to school, you're standing in front in the assembly. So it really just manifests in so many different ways, right? And
Mm.
when you're petite, actually, it's again generational. So maybe our parents have heard the same things. So then that's sort of manifesting into us. Now we've heard the same things. We'll perhaps not want our kids to be petite, right? So ऐसे करते करते, but this is completely out of our control. But ऐसे comments घर में होते हैं, and it's very common within even like very urban, educated households. Also, these are not like conversations that perhaps don't even happen in rural areas. Happen more in
Seen it
urban areas.
happening in my own family, dear. So I know.
There you go. Yeah, मतलब it's घर घर की कहानी literally, right? So now, of course, there are a lot of psychological impacts of this. And again, like you said, parents की भी गलती नहीं होती किसी के भी, because they just want like the best for their child and they know कि, so that's where they're coming from. What do you think can be done both from perspective of a child and a parent? क्योंकि अपीयरेंस, मैंने हाइट का एग्जांपल दिया, बट ये हमारे आर्म्स पे भी पेरेंट्स कभी कमेंट करते हैं, स्किन टोन पे भी कमेंट्स होते हैं. हाउ कैन be helped better, because honge to hai hi, like we'll want our child to look fit, healthy, and look their best. So
True.
in these conversations on both sides.
Mm. So basically, first thing is that parents need to be aware of the kind of vocabulary they are using at home, right? Um, to be frank, I've firsthand seen so many parents, they don't want to invest in learning about child psychology. They are, they are okay to, speak certain words, um, and not really get into the understanding of what is happening with the child's brain when you are saying those certain words, right? I'll give you a very small example. Like for me, it happened with me. Okay, while I was growing up, हम लड़कियों को तो आदत रहती है आईने में देख के नखरे करने की, है ना? So I was doing that, and my mom might have just funnily or just jokingly might have said that, आईने में मत देख, इतनी सुंदर नहीं है तू. Okay, and that kind of shaped me. It literally shaped me. I used to feel inferior in front of other girls. I used to feel that, Arey, I am not beautiful, I'm not good looking, right? And it's not just about good looking. I like in my own family, like my nephew, he was barely 5 years old, and he's being told by his grandmother that अरे इसकी height ही नहीं बढ़ रही है. A 7-year-old, 8-year-old child, लड़कों की हाइट एकदम एक साल में बढ़ जाती है, राइट? एंड लड़कियों का इट्स अ ग्रेजुअल जर्नी. अर्ली दे टेक देयर हाइट अर्ली, एंड देन of course when they start menstruating, उनकी हाइट वो स्टॉप हो जाती है. But then we have to understand what what uh, what is our word, or what our vocabulary is doing to our child, right? If you are saying, because children are 100% subconscious from 0 to 12, the conscious brain, that is neocortex, that is not even developed. That is not even मतलब उनको, that is a brain responsible for complex cognitive thinking, judgment, decision making, planning, understanding other people's perspective, right, where they are coming from. And that only starts development after 13,
Mm.
developing after 13. So from 0 to 12, they are literally sponges. They are literally absorbing every single thing that they have been told. If the child has been told that तुमसे नहीं होगा, तुम नहीं कर पाओगे, या तुम तो छोटे ही हो, तुम तो ऐसे ही करते हो, तुम, my child is a picky eater, all sorts of comments, right? All of this is shaping the child, and that becomes their reality, right? Parents need to first understand that what is it that is coming out of your mouth. Are you conscious? Are you aware of what is it going to make meaning for the child, right?
Mm.
And for that, you need to develop that conscious awareness, right? And when it comes to children, as I mentioned, children are they are sponges. They are either absorbing or observing. So they are absorbing or observing. These are the only two things children do. Either they will absorb what you've just told them, that you won't be able to do this, you're worthless, you're this, you're that, or they're observing you. Many a times, as a mother, if I have a constant conversation that अरे मैं तो अच्छी नहीं दिख रही हूँ, ये क्या पहना है मैंने, if I'm constantly complaining, the child will absorb that. The child will observe that, okay, mama is complaining, I also need to complain. That is how the life is. That is how life is supposed to be lived. And then parents complain, अरे ये बहुत complain करते रहता है, अरे ये तो खाता ही नहीं है. How many times do we repeat this to our children? I want parents in the room be very very conscious about it. We keep on complaining about our children. अरे ये तो पढ़ाई नहीं करता है, अरे ये तो ये नहीं करता है, ये तो ऐसे ही नहीं करता, वैसे नहीं करता. If you're going to complain about it, the child is going to absorb it.
Yeah.
The child is going to believe that it's not, that he or she is not good enough, right? And this is one thing. The word good, right? We use so much, right? आप अच्छे बच्चे हो ना? You're a good child, right? How much good is good enough for the child to know whether the child is good enough or not? Right? And it plays at a very at various levels for us. You know, it's not just the external outlook, or like the height or weight or whatever it is. It goes very deep into your subconscious, and it starts, you know, creeping in you, that you start believing that no, I don't think I'll ever be able to make it big in my life. So awareness is the step one of all
For
this.
like choose your words very carefully and make sure that. But Apurva, again, I feel like even as parents, like playing devil's advocate, right? How do parents know कि यार ये सही words है? Like to your point on saying कि यार how what is good enough? That's amazing. Right, Abhi, how does a parent know? So if you really want to um, give feedback to your child, right? What is the best way to structure that feedback? We do this in the office so much. We want to give like feedback which is constructive, but we should even more carefully at home. So
Yes.
what stepping stones to start doing that? Like some really actionable things, or if you could share like an example that we could learn from.
Mhm. See, the first thing is always about you healing yourself, because um, whatever you have been through, whether you want it or not, you're going to pass it down. So becoming very aware of where you are, what you're doing, what you're saying, right? Because see, either we are operating from the past or we are operating from the future. We're never operating from the present. If you are operating from the past, अरे मेरे साथ ये हुआ था तो तेरे साथ भी होगा, तो ये नहीं करना है, वो नहीं करना है, future में you will be a failure if you fail, if you do this, you'll do that, you'll do that. That's a fear mechanism, right? You're actually doing fear parenting, right? So number one is getting to know yourself first. Where are your wounds coming from as a parent? Why is it that if a child misbehaves, why is it that you are getting triggered? Somewhere we get triggered, we get angry because there is some part of us that is not healed, right? If say my child is misbehaving, and if I get triggered, what is the conversation that I am having up here? अगर मैंने आज मेरे बच्चे को नहीं सिखाया तो वो कभी नहीं सीखेगा. And because of that, what happens? We get triggered, we get angry, we start yelling at our children, we start hitting them. ये कुछ नहीं बन पाएगा आगे आगे जाके अगर मैंने आज इसको करेक्ट नहीं किया, right? But it's all fear based. Nothing is set in stone. So first we have to come out of that fear mechanism, the coping mechanisms that we have learned. Because बचपन में मेरे साथ भी वही हुआ, अब मैं भी वही करने का ट्राई कर रही हूँ अपने बच्चे के साथ. So are you completely aware of where are you getting triggered? What are your triggers? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from true care or true authenticity, or is it coming from your past wounds? That is something, that is the number one step. Step number one, right? And when it comes to giving feedback, right? Usually what happens is there are moments, right? The moments of us getting triggered. And when we get triggered, we want to correct at that then and there, right? And that, of course, the child is also not in the space of listening. We are also not in the space of listening, right? So during that time, whenever you get to know that, that I'm getting triggered, I'm getting angry on my daughter or my son, at that time, maybe don't talk, maybe don't do anything, maybe take uh, distance yourself from your child for some time. And then in the night, when it's the right time, when the child is also in the, this is something that I teach in my community also, and this is something that I've experienced. I've done it with my own daughter, and the kind of transformation, the kind of those subtle shifts that you're looking at for our children, that really happens very beautifully, because they are sponges, they are subconscious, they are completely subconscious. So unko positive jitna doge, utna zyada they will thrive. Because if I tell you, Anu, don't think about elephant, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? It's an elephant, right? Because our brain is not conditioned to think negatively, right? So, matlab, what is happening in this process is that I have to think about elephant in order to not think about elephant, right? So that is what is happening in that process. जब हम बोलते हैं कि ये मत करो, the child has to actually imagine of doing it to not do it, right? Rather than that, can we use the positive words that आप ये करो, redirect them, rather than giving them correction or ये मत करो वो मत करो, because parents don't know, right? They are not even aware. इसलिए मैंने कहा कि सबसे पहले तो आपको खुद से awareness create करना है. And as you mentioned, right, it takes a lot. It took a lot for me also to be completely aware of where I am coming from. What is it? What are the words that are coming out of my mouth? Is it going to help my daughter in the future? And it's very subjective to every single person, right? For you, your deepest lessons would be about self-love. The deepest lessons would be about self-approval, right? So everybody's theme of life is different, right? So hum yahan pe, what I truly believe is that we have come here to learn our lessons. So when we are actually correcting our child, we need to first know, where is it coming from? Is it really coming from a space of I want to correct my child so that the child becomes better, or is it coming from my own wound?
Right.
And when we are so as I mentioned, in the night when the child is in a better place, you are at a better place, you are not really frustrated or angry on that particular point, you can actually take time to explain the child in a positive way how that behavior of the child can have negative impact over other people's lives or their own life. And then start saying positive affirmation where the child also starts believing, okay fine, I can do better. When we put the child down, अगर आपने उनको कटघरे पे खड़ा कर दिया, तो obviously he is already believing that he or she is already believing कि मैं criminal हूँ, मैंने गलत किया. And then they are not in space of learning. They are in the space of victimhood, and that's what we are training our children to be, a victim. कि तुमने ये नहीं किया, तुमने वो नहीं किया. That's how we correct, right? So that is where being completely aware and healing yourself from your own wounds is very important. Because जब तक वो नहीं करोगे, you will always be operating from past. कि मेरे साथ क्या हुआ? Okay, my mom used to, in this particular scenario, my mom would behave this way. So subconsciously, I will also behave that way. Make sense?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it's very, yeah, it's just gotten me to think, because the way you broke it down, very true कि ये pattern ही है, एक cycle है, जब तक उसको तोड़ेंगे नहीं हम फंसे रहेंगे इस cycle में. So first thing is get out of that cycle, right? Parents का perspective मुझे समझ में आ गया. Now as children, right? And all of us have been children. We've grown up to whatever age we're at right now. Again, we've seen that side of having received comments. And received comments at an age जब हमें उनका मतलब भी नहीं पता था.
Exactly.
और किसी just ingest, तो मुझे समझ नहीं आता ingest क्या होता है, but yeah, there were comments made that didn't really sit well with us and we're still operating from them. So first, there's a lot of healing work that we need to do there. But again, what's the starting point for that? How do we start understanding कि कई बार हमें पता भी नहीं होता कि like this happened in our life and we reacted so much or we felt so much, not because of this one incident but because we were linking it to something that we've been holding off for so long. ये भी होता है. How do we, and how do we start healing ourselves from there?
So, I have personally experienced this, and this is something that I also tell my students, that any given point of time, any challenge you're struggling through, there are two questions that you need to start asking yourself. Number one is, where is it coming from? Whatever is it you're feeling right now, you're feeling sad, you're feeling humiliated, you're feeling rejected, you're feeling, because ye jo words hai na, they're not even in our dictionary. Abandonment, silent treatment, we don't have these things in our dictionary. We don't even realize or understand where is it coming from, right? So number one, asking yourself this question is, where exactly is this trigger, the wound, or the anger, or the sadness, whatever I'm feeling right now, where is it coming from? When was the first time I experienced this emotion? First is name your emotion, always important. Naming your emotion. What am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling sad. Okay, why am I feeling sad? Maybe something happened, something triggered at that moment, something someone said. कोई तो आगे बोल के चला गया. I'll tell you my personal experience. I used to, like I shared, right? I used to be a very forgetful kid. Abhi bhi I'll forget. If I don't have it in my calendar, I tend to forget. Okay. And if before starting my healing journey, अगर कोई इतना भी बोल देता था, right? क्या यार अपूर्वा इतना भी भूल गई तू? I used to feel triggered. The anger was not on that other person. My mother-in-law, my husband would say, यार इतना कैसे भूल सकती है, right? Now they also understand कि हाँ ये है भूलक्कड़ है, right? But at that time they were also not understanding कि यार इतना कैसे भूल सकता है कोई, है ना? तो whenever they would say anything, I would be triggered within, and the internal conversation would be, इतना भी समझ नहीं सकते क्या मुझे? मैं भूलती हूँ इतना इतना पता नहीं है इनको, right? And the anger would be on them, but the anger was not on them. The anger, that was just a stimulus. The trigger was way behind in my childhood when I was humiliated for forgetting. And I used to remember that humiliation, that beatings, right? And the anger was not on them, but on my own self. कि मैं इतना भी कैसे भूल सकती हूँ यार? Am I not even this much worthy? That people are talking like this to me, right? So up until you understand where your wounds, where your triggers are coming from, you will keep on surviving, keep on, blaming others. I used to blame others. कि इनको नहीं समझ में आता है, मेरे को. I used to have this core belief, okay? After, going through the incidences or series of incidences where I was beaten up, I had this core belief that no one understands me. And no one will ever understand me. And I used to literally operate from that space. I became a rebel. I would be, why should I explain anybody? So I would go mum. I would not explain. I would not, say anything, because I didn't want to be accountable to anybody. Right? So it happens at a very, very subtle level where we are operating from certain spaces. Right? And so first thing is always understanding where is it coming from. That don't kill the messenger. I always say this. My mother-in-law, my husband, they were just messenger. They were just trying to send me the message that there are aspects of my life that I've not healed, right? And those triggers were the messengers, right? And a second thing that I always say to my students, that what, we are here to learn our lessons learned, patterns dissolved. So what is the lesson for me to learn in this particular moment? Why am I feeling sad? What is the lesson? What is it that I need to learn in this moment which I've not learned? If a pattern is repeating in your life, that means there is a lesson that you have not learned. And the moment you learn that lesson, that pattern will never show up in your life.
It's actually very deep in terms of even spiritual learnings,
Yes.
because it's right that until unless you learn something in this life that you're supposed to learn, you will keep on learning things in lives and lives to come.
Yes, absolutely. I am a spiritually grounded person. I have my own spiritual master whom I follow. I am a heartfulness practitioner. Yeah, I meditate a lot. Like since the last 6 years, I've been meditating, and it's given me massive transformation in my own life. And I can see that radiating through to my students and my family, and it's just so beautiful and so powerful. We are actually spiritual beings on a physical journey.
Yeah, and I think all of us, even in our spiritual journeys, are like at different steps of maturity, maybe. Just
Yes.
like Yeah, but it's the most helpful thing. And was on that path before. I am not now because this is also like meditation is literally practice. You just
Yes.
really practice and be at it. But yeah, perhaps I think about it often. I'm like, I have to get back to it. And when I meet someone like yourself, very inspired, admire it, and maybe I push myself for 2 days, but I guess I have to get back to that whole thing of practicing more regularly.
Absolutely.
So, so Purva, I think we're speaking about meditation already. There are some very deep topics that we've spoken about. There are people who shared on this chat that they're going through anxiety. And I'm so sorry, and we're here for you as you go through that. Um, it would be really beautiful if you could guide us through some exercise, some kind of manifestation, any breath work, any journaling, any small activity that you think, we could get started with. And like I said, I could also pick a page from that and go back to my journey of feeling a little bit better about myself every day. We don't take the time out to do that, right? We just go about our start to bottle up emotions. What do you we could all do together, all of us who are on this conversation right now?
I would love to take you through. So it will not be a guided process, but I want to share one very powerful process. Okay, and this is something that you can do any given point of time in any day, any time of the day. And I'll share one. I'll set context before I share that particular activity. Um, the reason we struggle, the reason we suffer, is because there is a lot of hatred that we carry for our own self. It's like, I should be a certain way, I'm not good enough, I'm not good looking, I'm not slim enough, I am not this enough, I'm not that enough. And we literally spend most of our time putting ourselves down, or blaming ourselves, or shaming ourselves, and that's the conversation that we keep on having with ourselves, right? So whenever you feel that there's a lot of anger, anxiety, like some of them mentioned, that there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of anger that's showing up, there's a lot of unsettled
Hmm.
and chaotic that we feel at times, right? Emotions. So what I want you to do is, and this is something that you can do it at your own pace, I want you to write down a hate letter to yourself. I know we write we have heard about love letter, but I want you to write hate letter to yourself. Whatever hatred that you have, this inner talk, right? You write it down. You write it down, everything, even if the curse words come, let it be very uncensored. Whatever is there within your mind, whatever is the thought process, just write it down. And once you write down, बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, राइट? बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है और उस गुस्से के चक्कर में हम बहुत लिख रहे हैं, राइट? And it's coming from that space. Now what you need to do is, I want you to burn that paper. And when you burn that paper, just visualize that whatever the negativity or the hatred that was there, it's all also burning and releasing. Right? I have done it multiple times, and the moment I do it, energetically, something gets released. It is such a powerful process. Right. I'm sure some of us might have already done something like this, and it's no harm doing it again, right? It's always a good reminder that we need to first learn to love ourselves, because nobody else can give the love that we can give to ourselves. No one else can give it the way we want it to ourselves, right? So only we can do that. And expecting other person to love you the way you want is also not fair, because the other person is also coming from their own wounds, right? And the wounds are enhanced, or they literally come to the surface when we are in a relationship, right, with other people. That's when most of our wounds show up, right? Because all the wounds are relationship wounds.
Hmm.
All the wounds are relationship wounds. Even money wounds are relationship wounds. The kind of belief that we carry around money, the kind of belief that we carry about ourselves, it's because of the relationship that we've had with certain people, and they shape our beliefs.
True.
Right?
True.
So this is a very powerful process, and I would like to share that if you can just do it today itself, all the audience, like the entire audience, whoever is watching us right now, or those who are going to watch the recording, just do this. And please do also let us know in the comments, how did you feel later, how your energy got lifted later when you have actually done that, right? So that's a beautiful and a very powerful process. I always use it, and I make my students also go through it.
Like writing what you don't like about yourself at that point in time. So it's to yourself,
Yes,
Someone.
yes. Nobody needs to read this. And you just need to write like as is journaling. It's called as is journaling. There's no filters, there's no fillers, there's no, using the right words or thinking about using the right words. Are koi aur pad lega? Not required, because as it is, you're going to burn that paper up. And just be completely honest. Just be completely brutally honest with yourself. And when you burn it, you're actually um, burning with an intention that whatever there was, whatever hatred, whatever anger there was, it's getting burnt and released from my own body. And you will, it there's no other way around that you will not experience it in your body, that release happening in your body, because we are all energy, right? And the intention matters a lot. Intention is at the topmost for me. um, Intention is number one. Like whatever I do in my life, I have to ask myself, what is the intention behind doing this? Right? Because if your intentions are pure, if you're operating from that highest energy of giving and serving, I think everything just falls in place for you, and universe makes way for you when your intentions are right. So, yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Definitely going to be on my to do list. And next time, whenever it is that I'm feeling unsettled, imbalanced with my emotions, or just about myself, I'll definitely try this out and I'll circle back up. Or I'll personally tell you how I felt about this.
Yes. Please do.
Please do try this. Sometimes we're just in our minds and we're thinking क्या करें, ये क्यों हो रहा है, ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है. जब आप लिखने लगते हो आप बहुत कुछ समझने लगते हो. नहीं भी समझते हो तो भी एटलीस्ट आपको अपने बारे में समझ आता है, आपके दिमाग में चल क्या रहा है, so आप वो पैटर्न ब्रेक करते हो. So lovely. Thank you, Apurva. I know we've had like a bunch of people who've been asking questions. I'm just gonna be able to pick one or two because I know I've taken
Yes.
more of your time already. So thank you. If you
No
could
worries.
just take 5 minutes. Um, all right. So one of the questions that we received was from Chavi, and she's asking, "What's one practical thing that adults can do to heal from childhood experiences?"
All right. So first is always awareness, right? And second is acceptance. See, most of the times is what happens is we are in denial. मेरा बचपन तो बहुत अच्छा रहा है. Like for me, apart from that beating, if you ask me, amazing childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing childhood. Like I had, yes, I had my own set of struggles, but nothing called, truly demeaning parents or mean parents. No, they meant well for me, right? Even if my mom hit me, she meant well for me. It was never, we had our own fun. We used to travel a lot. 15 दिन के लिए पापा लेके जाते थे हमको घुमाने के लिए. So we've had good time as well. It's not always, see, that's where, we are in denial when we say that मेरा बचपन तो बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा प्रॉब्लम तो शादी के बाद प्रॉब्लम चालू हुई है मेरी. Right? Most of my students, they come with this complaint, and later on when they start doing the processes, they realize नहीं यार, ये सब बचपन का ही seed है. The seed is being sprouted, and in marriage we keep on living that conditioning, right? So the conditioning and the foundation is set in childhood. So first thing, you need to understand that whether you are struggling, wherever you are struggling, start asking yourself, where is it coming from? When was the first time I experienced that? And start journaling your thought process, whatever is coming on. Second thing is, start working on your mindset. Everything is mindset. Everything. राइट, एवरी सिंगल थिंग इज अ माइंडसेट. अगर मैं छोटी सी भी चीज मैं करती हूँ लाइफ में, तो वो किस इंटेंशन से करती हूँ, उसके पीछे मेरा माइंडसेट क्या है, व्हाट इज माय माइंडसेट, right? So everything is in your mind, and everything is your belief, right? If you believe that, people are here to use me, they are going to abuse me, they're going to, I cannot trust people, then you will attract people who you can't trust, because that's how people are reflection of our deepest beliefs about ourselves. If I hate myself, I'm going to attract people who hate me, who show me the mirror, right? But if I have pure love for myself, I will attract people who only shower love to me. So it's always going to be that if you're feeling right now that I get people you're always criticizing me, who are always putting me down, who are always, uh, हमेशा मेरी गलतियां निकालते हैं. Ask yourself, what is your inner talk? What is your inner voice? Are you loving yourself enough? Right? That is very important, because self love, self approval, you cannot delegate it to others. Healing, you cannot delegate it to others. You cannot tell to others that यार मेरी तरफ से तुम ही healing कर लो और मैं heal हो जाऊंगी. That doesn't happen, right? So healing is very important for all of us. The entire planet Earth is wounded. Every single person, you, me, we all are wounded. We all operate from that wounded self, right? And of course, it's a lifelong journey. It's something that we keep on revealing, keep on unveiling for ourselves. There are going to be some patterns that will heal. There are going to be new patterns that will show up. right? So we need to be on this journey of introspecting. Okay, this is a new pattern that is showing up. Okay, let me find out. Become, I always say this to my students, become a subject matter expert of your body, of your life. Subject
Of
matter expert of your life. That is where the true freedom also lies. Because then you are no longer driven by what others think about you, what others feel about you, what others are talking about you. You're not driven by that because you know yourself. No matter how you look, no matter how you what height you have, what what weight you have, if you are from within happy and you're loving yourself, you don't need other people's validation. People's opinions stop bothering you. And this is what I always say, people don't know themselves, but they have opinion about everything else.
very
So why to spend your entire life thinking about what will others think or what will others say? क्यों? And you know what, हमको सिर्फ इतना लगता है कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे. लोगों के पास इतना टाइम नहीं है आपके बारे में सोचने के लिए, because they have their own shit to take care of, right? So
जिनके
nobody is actually thinking about us. Yeah.
family. The other question is, I'm going to take one from the comments here now. Um, okay, this is an interesting one. Medha is asking, my friends bully me a lot for my height. How should I heal from this?
Okay. You know, I'll tell you what. There is a. I'll share a story with you. Like for me also. Why do we get worried, or why do we get affected by what others are saying? You know why? Because there is a part of us that believes in what they just said, right? If someone is bullying you, if someone is not being kind to you, and currently my like just in the recent days, my daughter has gone through some bullying. She's 8.5 years old, but she's being bullied by her, her friends, and so I completely understand, and it really, as a mother, it pains me to see my daughter going through. So I can completely understand where you're coming from, or how bad it feels, or how painful it is to go through a bully experience. Even I have gone through experience of bullying as a child, like while growing up. But ask yourself, what is it that they are saying that you are believing in? If you believe that, yes, I am ugly, or I am fat, or I am this, or I am that, and they validating that to you, that is obviously going to bother you. So first thing, the first lesson that you need to develop is self-love. Love yourself so much that others bullying you, it doesn't matter to you, right? Well, that's the most important thing that we can do for ourselves, because nobody else is going to. Yeah, see, if they are bullying, and if two things. Number one, if it is getting out of your hands, then you need to get someone involved. Okay, I'm talking about the extreme bullying. Second, if they're just passing on the comments, कि अरे ये तो ये है, ये तो वो है, you need to ask yourself, is whatever they are sharing, is it bothering me? Why is it bothering me? Is there a part of what they are sharing that I'm trusting? Is there a part of me that's trusting in what they are saying? Then I need to work on myself. I don't need to work on them. I need to work on myself. I need to change the language. Do you have that inner language that, yes, I am this person, or I am that person? Then you need to change the language, right? And you need to start developing that self-love. And in that, I would like to share one powerful process. What you need to do is, this is a chop point, right? EET, this is called emotional empowering technique. Okay, so you need to just tap into this or massage the chop point, and you need to say this: even though I feel bullied or I feel rejected, I still choose to love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of my life. Okay, this is EET. Even though I feel that emotion, you name that emotion, that I feel rejected, I feel humiliated by my friends or whoever that is. Even though I feel humiliated, I still choose to love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of my life. And you do this, you repeat this for 3 to 4 times, and then you see what is the intensity. If it reduces, do it again. Then it reduces, do it again. Do it till the intensity becomes to 0. And the next time they are doing or they are commenting something, then you need to remind yourself. You just need to say to yourself that, you know what, Even though they are doing this, I still choose to love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of my life. So it becomes as beautiful, that becomes your turning point, where you no longer get bothered by or get affected by what others are thinking or saying about you, because you are in complete alignment with yourself. We don't really need that validation from anyone. We don't need that yeah, validation. We don't need anybody to tell us how we are, because we know, we should be knowing ourselves. That's where self discovery is so important. That's where healing yourself is so important from all of these aspects. I hope this helps the person who's asked this question.
Yeah, yeah. And Medha, I mean, have honest conversations with your friends also. Like, we've got to draw boundaries and we've got to tell them that this is not right. And if after conversation they don't understand, then perhaps really like think about who are the kind of people that you'd like to surround yourself with, because that's also, I don't know, I feel like Apurva, even energy of people around us really impacts the way that we feel and we.
Absolutely. That's, this is what my mentor says, that you are the sum total of, the average of sum total of 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you're spending time with people who put you down, then you're not in the right space. You're not in the right environment. So you need to change your environment, because your environment is stronger than your willpower. No matter how much willpower you have, but your environment, if that environment is pulling you down, then you will shrink yourself. You will feel down. You will feel depressed. You need to change your environment. That's very important.
Amazing. A lot of these tips, a lot of these, I wouldn't even say tips. I think these are like really meaningful things that can be applied just in the way of how we conduct ourselves. So, thank you for sharing all of these insights with us. And um, my key takeaway, at least, has been that there is a lot of healing work that I need to do on myself also, Purva. So, I will perhaps get in touch and I think, share with journey my story has been. And for anyone who feels that this is something that you'd like to, if you're starting to notice patterns or not really understanding what's happening with you, then maybe this is a starting point. And there are people who are trained to help you on that journey. So don't feel like you need to be in your head all the time and क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ क्यों मुझे समझ के it's all right, सबके साथ होता है, हम कितनी भी एज में हो हमारे साथ में होता है, it's normal. We just have to from it, so we have to know the right tools to move forward, right? um, yeah, I think if I could ask you one last question, Apurva, that would be, there are a lot of young folks listening to you at this point in time. Close to 40% of our audience is below the age of 25, right? So still starting to develop like a mature brain and like an individual person
Mhm.
of our home, starting work. What would you tell these young impressionable kids?
Just believe in yourself, and stop comparing yourself. Because if we compare a fish with its ability to climb the tree, it will always, feel stupid. Right? So you all have your own superpowers. Tap into your own superpowers. Don't even go out and look at what others are doing, because others are not you. They are not living your life. You need to live your life. You have your own superpowers. You need to discover your superpowers and live with complete alignment of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. What are the thoughts? What are the emotions that you're feeling, and actions? Are you taking the right aligned actions? And when you do that, when you are completely focused in what you love doing, work doesn't remain work. I have personally experienced that. I've worked for 10 years, 10 long years as a full stack developer, working for others, and I always used to feel superficial in my work. And when I started to work on myself, and I started to do this particular work, this is so soul fulfilling, because I truly believe that I was born for this. We need to believe in ourselves and stop comparing our life with other people's life. Today people are struggling because they're not liking their own life, and they want to live someone else's life, but that's not possible. No, that's not physically, emotionally, spiritually possible to live someone else's life. So why not accept whatever life you've received, whatever life you have got for this lifetime? Just accept it, and try to find your own superpowers, and then you work on your own superpowers, and make it big in your life. Why do you need anybody else's life? It's because of the experiences that we've had. So that's what I would like to share, because I became an engineer. I shared, it was because my parents wanted us to be engineers. But when I was able to find my own true calling, when I found my own superpower, it's like, it's not, the work is not even work for me. It's like करो काम, सुबह उठ के ही you feel so blessed that you're on this
Hmm.
journey, right? You don't have to be pulled, you don't need motivation for that. The inspiration comes from within to do more,
Yeah.
right? So
And
that's what I
it's
would like to share.
fulfilled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I resonate with that completely. Yeah, I know I've taken up a lot of your time. Perhaps
No
this goes
problem.
to dinner, but amazing conversation. Very, very relevant also, because I know that a lot of how we feel about our bodies is tied up to what experiences we've grown up with, right? So I hope that a lot more people can find their path to healing their inner child, breaking these generational traumas that we've perhaps all been a part of, realizing that we are a part of a generational cycle, firstly, that, we're
Yes.
carrying from grandmothers to mothers to kids, or even like paternal sides as well.
Yes.
So thank you for being so candid, so honest, so brave with your own journey.
Thank you.
More power to you. And
Thank you so much.
love your work. I hope that we can manifest this into something bigger, something more beautiful, because I do
Absolutely.
feel that body confidence very deeply ties in with our journeys right from childhood. So I'd love to stay connected, love opportunities to build meaningful experiences together for
Yes,
people who really
absolutely.
are looking for healing themselves. And I know that a lot of people are. I have these very deep conversations, but I feel like actually it will lead into how you could heal them, so we could figure
Absolutely.
out how that can
Absolutely.
happen for so many more people.
Happy,
And I'm
happy
really
to
looking
help.
forward.
Happy to help always, Anu, and I'm here for you as well. You just stay connected, and let's see how it goes. How this collaboration can bloom, right?
Awesome, awesome, thank you. I wish you a
Beautiful.
lovely, lovely evening. I can
Thank
hear
you.
your daughter perhaps in the
Yes.
background. Yeah, please, please,
She's knocking and she's
excuse
asking
mom.
me that, Mama, call some call is call over, and I'm like, wait.
Oh, no, no, please, please do be with her, and we'll stay connected. Yeah, and
Yes.
good evening to everyone who joined. Thank you so much for taking the time, guys, and I hope that you had
Thank
some key
you.
takeaways here. Please do share, please do comment and share.
Yes. Thank you,
Awesome.
Anu. So nice to meet you. So nice to have this candid conversation. And I can see you're also operating from such an authentic space. Um Love you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. All the love right back.
Thank you, Anu. Bye
All
bye.
right.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.
You too. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Bye all. Bye all.